Hello everyone and welcome. Hello everyone and welcome to this session of Remembering John Perakos. We're very lucky here today to have Dr. Walid Daw, who's the founder of the Swiss and the Serbian Core Energetics Institutes. He's an international teacher of many disciplines. He's trained in multiple health and wellness approaches, including within body-based psychotherapy. Walid, I'm not going to list your achievements because I'll be here forever. I'll never get to hear from you, my friend. So thank you so much for making your time available today.
You're welcome, Renil.
It's great to see you.
I'm happy to be with you.
Oh, thank you. I wish we were sitting in person sharing a drink as we have before, but virtually we shall do it as well.
I would love doing it.
Wonderful. Hey, listen, you've been around for a long time in many different circles. I mean, there's a lot that you've published sharing not only about your history and journey, and we'll tie that into the comments later so everyone can research that themselves. But how did you come across John Perakos? How did you come into this work?
It's very funny story. It's really very funny story. I was a student of Alexander Lowen for a few years. Yes. And then, I could hear from Lowen all the name of Perakos. He would mention him many times. So one day I was taking a course, I liked movement myself.
Yeah, well acting and mime was all of your history, wasn't it? So you had expression.
Correct. So I was in Tuscany in Italy in one of the workshops by Stefano Sabetti about Shinkido. I don't know if you're familiar. It's Chinese way of working with energy. Mm-hmm. So, in the middle of the course, one woman fall down from the horse outside on the field. Mm-hmm. And I just ran out of the course, me and another woman, to help that woman that fall from the horse. And I came back to the workshop, and Stefano was so angry about my leaving. And he really was shouting around. And I told him, Stefano, please stop, if you don't stop, I will leave. And he didn't believe me, so I took my things and I just left. So I went to Florence, to the railway. Yeah. And I met there, two women, which was on the same train. And they told me they are going to Germany to meet a man. And to meet, another workshop. And I said, which workshop? They said, it is his name is John Perakos. And so I said, okay, I will come with you. I'm familiar with his name. So I just decided not to go to Switzerland back, but to go to Germany. So I went to Germany and I went to that workshop, and we came to Wasmuthausen, Sigmar was arranging, the whole thing. Yeah. So we came, all of us three, we came into the room. John said to them, hello, hello. And then he came to me, he looked at me, and he took my hand and he said, we know one another. I said, oh, come on, where we know one another. I don't know you. I have never seen you. He said, no. We met once, in Atlantis. You don't remember? And I said, no, I don't remember. And I really didn't connect with anything. So he was so nice to me. I don't know. He took my hand and he was massaging, my neck, and he put my hand on his heart. And he said, we have to become friends. We was fighting together earlier. We was scientists. You don't remember this, but I remember this. So welcome, to meet you again. So, it was not, not the story that really moved me. I think the touch that moved me. Right. I was, I was really longing, even I worked a lot with Lowen. Lowen, he's in English. He has a distance. He doesn't have this warmth yeah, the heart warmth that
Yes.
the Mediterranean has, and this
True.
kind of passionate, and John has that. Okay.
Yes.
So it's like, it felt to me like we have similar resonance, similar energy. And I was longing to find, this ideal father that would hold me in his hands. So I grew up, with a father who was politician, but he was totally distant. I knew him, on distance. So that transferential issues from my side to John made him, to my father.
Of course.
I made him to the lovely person that I'm willing to love, from my heart. And he was very open-hearted, as John was, So I felt like we had a subconscious commitment.
Yes.
To be together,
Wow.
and I kept that commitment, and I still keep it. He's still in my heart.
So what a wonderful entree into a workshop. Was that what you felt you got the most out of from that first weekend? Was this heart connection from an available father, or was there something more that?
Yes, this kind of warmth, this kind of understanding, this kind of really resonating on the same level, it's like falling in love. When you meet a woman, you fall in love with that resonance. Yeah.
I'm going to tell my wife that you told me that this is how I need to be with her more, if that's okay.
Oh, thank you.
I'm taking this opportunity to remind myself what I need to remind myself every day. Walid. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So even 30 years later, I came back to that house to teach.
Wow.
Yeah? Now, not as a student, now as a teacher. I had my group, in Germany, which I still have 2 groups there. And one of my groups they came to the same room.
Yes.
Yeah. And we met the same man, in that place who owns there. And when he saw me, he said, "Oh, the most lovely son of John Peracos. You don't remember? He just
so
he
amazing.
was so
30
jealous.
Years.
He admitted, that he was so jealous that John gave me so much time when he saw me. And he made me special in the group somewhere.
Yeah, amazing.
And it was so funny. It was not just my feeling, my deep feeling, not about the specialness. It's really about the connection.
Yes. No, I understand. So as you started to work with John, how did it evolve for you? I mean, what did you notice? What struck you about him besides this ability to connect with people and the difference in the teachings he was doing? And then how did it unfold for you to become a teacher and a leader in your own right?
When I came to Core Energetics, I was already, I knew a lot about therapy. I did the psychoanalytic seminar, I did gestalt therapy, behavior therapy. I was for about 8 years in the hospital, dealing with people. And then I did the bioenergetics, and I came, to Core Energetics. So I had all the instruments that I need for therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when I was looking to John working, I was thinking he has no instruments, this man. Yeah, but he creates such a depth and such a connection incredibly, and I was totally fascinated about leaving the techniques by side.
Yes.
Yeah, and trusting your intuition. Just opening your heart and connect with the people, and things starts to flow. And this knowledge, this unconscious knowledge, this part of me wanted to learn this. Yeah, I didn't need to learn it. I had it in me, already. Yeah, but I didn't know how to use it. And John was a beautiful example of how he used his intuition and heart connection.
It's so amazing, Walid, because whilst you're a scientist, I also know that you're an amazing artist in so many different areas. And what I'm hearing is that John was the inspiration for you to bring the artistic into your therapy because you had the science already.
That's correct. That's correct. It's like coming, you know, from here down to your heart.
Yeah.
Your being. Yeah.
Yes. And that's so inspiring because that's what John told me as well when I was asking him, oh, what do I, you know, all these therapeutic questions. And he said, look, stop. You have enough techniques. You'll always learn more, but stay in your heart, stay connected, and the rest will flow. And you just reminded me this conversation.
That's correct. That's correct. This is the central element of how I see core energetics.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how did that mix with your colleagues and peers in the bioenergetics group when you then, because there was all sorts of things going on at that time when you also then started the training in the core energetic work and the more spiritual, the more personal focus that
you know, there was a huge personal conflict between John Perakos and Alexander Lowen, which when John Perakos died, and Lowen came, you know, to the ceremony.
Yes.
And I had to say something. So I just said to Lowen that John had always in his heart, you know, this longing to meet you, and really to you know to tell you that that he loves you and he loves the work and he honors, you know, what you have really created, not just together, but you as a person. And Lowen cried.
Hey, so I think one of the others was telling me that in the months leading up, that John and Elle had started speaking again, and they had just been trying to remake these connections.
Yeah, they tried, but it was not happening. You know what John has to say was not really heard by Lowen.
Yeah.
And I understand Lowen. Lowen, you know, said at that funeral, he said, I never understood what John wanted. He was speaking, you know, about the radiation, about the aura and all this, and I have never connected with that. Yeah, and I agree with him. You know, I can understand that this level is very, very difficult to connect with.
Yes.
If you know, if you are from that generation,
yes.
Yeah, we are more sensitive today, you know, to such theories and such realities.
And I think it's also a cultural background and heritage. You know, they came from a Western upbringing, whereas perhaps those with a more Eastern or a more indigenous heritage are more open and able to accept some of these principles.
Yeah, I agree with you fully. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, Lowen was more an analytic. He came from the analytic schools.
And as you said, what he contributed was quite amazing and phenomenal, really, in what he taught.
He did.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Both of them, you know, they are pioneer. You know, they hold, you know, the innerst idea, you know, and they carry that. Now we have a plant. Now we have to care, you know, to take care of the plantage, you know, of all those trees.
So, you know, what I'm really appreciating in what you said and have been saying, Walid, is that all of a sudden I'm getting this vision of John being so courageous as to not only open his heart in a therapeutic way, but to bring himself as a person, as a man, into the work for the intention to work with each of the people he was working with. And I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but that's the feeling I got as you were describing.
That's correct.
Yeah, wow, that's quite amazing.
That's
that he was able to hold that space for so many.
John has no separation between transferential issues and contra-transferential issues.
Yeah.
He was not, he didn't want to become aware of that. He would talk about it sometimes, but when he works, you know, then he really wants to touch those places in you that he feels you need the movement. Yeah.
Incredible.
And that this kind of man I have never seen, you know, therapist before, who really had this urge in his heart, you know, to give you the good.
Wow.
You know, if you understand that love is about wanting the good for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, then that is the place of love.
Wow, that's incredible. So in terms of for you, it sounds like that this was really a big message that you got out of John, not only in terms of who he is, but who you were in discovering yourself over that next emerging period of bringing the two parts of you together.
Of course, I could grow into that, you know. And
amazing. Oh, amazing.
I'm similar to John, you know. I have a lot of similarities, you know, in my being. We are very similar. And he felt, you know, he felt like I have to give up, you know, my mind. He would say, you're a warrior, you know, give up, man, you know. So open your heart, you know, come to your heart, you know. There's life is more beautiful than fighting.
So how did you find this balancing of these different relationships you had with John? Because I mean, you're an ex-colleague and a friend, and then you became in a previous life perhaps, and then you've come in as a client, but that has an established friendship and a love, and then that evolved into a trainer and into a peer perhaps. I mean, so many different things. How was that journey for you with him?
I don't know. It's like, you know, we have been very, he was my teacher. I love him as my teacher. I knew that his knowledge is not, you know, it's not about reading books, you know. I read, I think, more books than he read. Yeah, but it was not about this, you know. It was about we was like very deep, loyal friends from the heart. Yeah, and when he felt like there are something is not okay, he would confront me, you know, and he want me to work on it, and he wanted to move forwards with that. He didn't like that part, and he didn't even let me, you know, go without moving forwards, you know, from that place. And I loved that about him. Yeah. In the later places, I would confront him, and he accepted it from me. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was this mutual exchange after, you know, mutual respect. Yeah, respect, love, connectedness. Yeah. I know a lot of stories about him, you know. He was
well,
human,
I was just gonna ask, you know, you're reading my mind. I was just about to say, so tell me about some of these human experiences you had with the man.
I will tell you, you know, one scene that I just remember yesterday, and I had to laugh. We had a talk, and John, you know, in the city of Bern, you know, the capital of Switzerland, and we had about 500 people sitting, you know, in this place. John was talking, and then there was one moment he said, listen, I have to go to the toilet. I said, okay, let's, you know. So I told him where to go. Yeah. And he said, I'm sorry. And he ran away, but he didn't turn the microphone on. Off. you know, so the loudspeakers in the room, he would pee there, and all the loudspeakers would yeah, was on, and I ran in, you know, and yeah, I wanted to stop the microphone, and he said, "What do you want? What do you want?" You know, he was so totally. It was so funny scene, incredibly, yeah, and everybody, you know, just to clap because they knew it is very human.
Yeah. And it brings that, as you say, that whole human element to something which is, you know, a lot of people might have been challenged listening to him there,
Yeah.
hearing what he
And
has to say.
he took it after, you know, such, he was so just laughing about it. He just took it, you know, as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. So in terms of his effect on you as a teacher and professionally, what you learned from him, what springs to mind? I mean, what's really at the top of your mind around that?
You know, I told you that connectedness with the heart,
Yes.
trusting your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said always one sentence where he got always, you know, like he wanted everybody to understand. He said, you can't skip your lower self. You can't skip that. And he's right. He's right. You know, you can't skip your lower self. Yeah. And he, you know, one thing that I really learned of Jean is he, you know, when he worked with negativity, he said always, don't get identified with the negative self. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't get identified with the negativity. Face it, look at it, yeah,
Yes.
and move, you know, transform that energy.
Yes.
Get identified with the positive after, which he called the higher self. Yeah, I don't call it the higher self. I don't use, you know, today those terminology, but it's in the same direction, same movement. But
Yes.
this is
Yes.
what I love that about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very essential, the essential element of Jean that I learned, you know, and I still use a lot in my work is transforming negative energy. And
Thank you.
moving the person to get identified with his positive self and living, you know, that power in him, living those attitudes.
Wonderful.
It's not enough, you know, to transform. You need to embody, you know, the positive in you.
Yes.
And grow from that place. Okay.
Wonderful. Yeah, beautiful. And you know, I know that early on when we first met, you were talking about how you'd committed to John to keep the work going, not only in its current state, but the research, the evolution, the creating the crop from the seeds that he'd sowed, not just the crop that he grew. So, I mean, how has that unfolded for you, given the work you'd already done? What areas have you been exploring further?
You know, every time I came, I had many connection with societies and therapeutic societies and societies of acknowledgement and all this stuff. You know, I was always, you know, just going to those societies. I was one of them. And but to get recognized, you know, every method needs to have theory. Theory needs to have axioms of the work. The axioms of the work needs to have technology behind. So, and to use the technology and to modify the technology to optimize, you know, that element is very, very important. And I just followed, you know, that. I thought, okay, you say always we don't have any theory, so let me now, you know, find out some theories that really are in the background of our work. So I was trying, you know, all the time just to give Core Energetics in a way to give that what I'm doing, the proof to the scientific commissions that
Yes.
we are as scientific, as they think or as they want to think, and we go somewhere over it. So it's like, we just take the element grounding. I have contributed a lot, in that area. I speak, about primary grounding, which none of the people, has ever looked there, that before the child, stand up on his legs, there was 7 steps that the child needs to go through. It's like holding, nurturing, supporting, all those elements are very primal elements before the grounding on the legs comes. Then when you come to the grounding on the legs, there is just, it's not just feeling the body, it's not just connecting with the body. It is, when you go the steps through, you will come to a place of the energetical grounding. The energetical grounding, it's not just the beginning is the vibration, but to go through the vibration, the 6 steps that you go through till the flow comes, and not just the flow, the pulsation in the body starts. To coordinate all that, it's a development. You need to teach the students to go through those steps. It's not just, you can't have it, just like this, because you're standing on your legs and your feet are parallel, to your shoulders, and you're breathing, in a good way, or you intensify your breath. This is very good, very nice, very nice element to support the energy. But how to work really with the energy, that is a very, very central element.
No, I understand. Well, Walid, if there is anything that you could share with us further about the effect of this relationship and this continuing relationship you have with John, what would that be?
There are a lot of things, that I love about my relation to John. When I remember John, I just remember, Greek music, and then standing up and dancing. This is, it's like the life impulse, the aliveness, that John was very enthusiastic and charismatic man. Yeah, and I love that about him. He's when he comes with his energy, he will just vibrate. Yeah, and he loves, to move the people. He loves to see the life movement. And he got very excited when the life movement is there. So me too. I love that too. And we, that place. I don't think this is it's a part of the core energetics. It's I see it, as a part. This is the aliveness, how to support the aliveness in human being, in you, in the others. It's wonderful.
Well, look, thank you. There are many things that you and I will be talking about around this topic, but today was, as you've shared with us so personally, and thank you, a tribute to John.
You're welcome. Thank you from my heart.
And I'll be in touch so that everyone in our community can hear more from you. But I really feel John in your day-to-day as you speak. I can feel his energy around you, and this nice relationship.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, in many ways it was.
I have a deep heart, for him.
Wonderful.
He gave me a lot, on my path, and I'm very thankful to that.
Wonderful. All right, Mr. Daw, thank you so much. I won't hold you up anymore today, but we'll be talking again shortly.
Thank you, Renee.
Take care.
And see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.